Hello, everybody, and welcome to my walkthrough of Nada by Eduardo Tarilonte. This is software designed for making beautiful ambient music, be it for new age or meditation. It would be great for certain types of documentaries and films, all kinds of stuff. But it basically is just a library that's designed to help you create beautiful ambient, sitting on a cloud, making you drift away kind of music. And it's one of my favorite libraries of the hundreds that I own, and I absolutely love it. With this being the 1 year anniversary of its release, I thought it would be a great time to come back and update my video. Eduardo has updated this with a bunch more sounds for the anniversary, and it's even better than before, if that's possible. I wouldn't have thought so if you would have asked me a year ago. Could this be any better, Scott? No, it cannot. But I was proven wrong, and that's okay. I'm good with it. So the video that I did last year, I'm probably just going to end up taking it down. I didn't have the right, really a good combination to do video and audio. I had to kind of run the audio through a third-party piece of software to compensate for something I was missing in my audio interface. Anyway, it's all better now. I have a much better audio interface. The issues I was having with my system are now all cleared up, and I'm ready to rock and roll and show you guys what this amazing... I hate to use the word powerhouse because that sounds so rock and roll, but this, for ambient music, this is probably the best library that you're going to find, at least as of right now, which is March 13th of 2021. So it's actually been, about 12 months since this first came out. I've written quite a bit with it. I love it. And no matter how much I feel I've used, I'm still finding sounds that I haven't used, finding different ways to use the sounds I have. And even though, if you look at the amount of stock sounds that are in here already, with so many options to tweak the sounds, there are literally millions of combinations of things that you can do with this library. So if you're into this kind of music, it's just a must-have, flat out, as far as I'm concerned. Eduardo, as always, did a top-notch job. Now, this is offered through Best Service, and I will have the link in the notes, and you can just click on it there. I do believe that there is a different link for Germany, maybe one for Europe, I'm not sure, but I have the American link, so I will share that in the notes with you guys. If I can find one of the other links, I'll put that in there as well. And I have to say, as a side note to Best Service, the quality that they give their customer service is top notch. I mean, working through some of the issues that I was having with my system, which we just couldn't figure them out, but they hung with me through every little bit of it until I said, you know what, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We can't figure this out for whatever reason. Well, however it happened, through Windows updates or firmware updates for my audio card, or updates to engine, whatever the case is, everything's working now. So, but I really have to compliment them on their service. They are always on the spot, willing to help, do whatever it takes. And there are so few companies that can say that nowadays. I mean, we've got people trying to charge you warranties for a 1-foot headphone extension cable. Like, it's $3. What do I need a warranty for? Ridiculous the way so many companies are now, charging for just standard updates and things like that. It's really nice to see a company that just believes in taking care of their customers. So Best Service is like my first stop. If I'm looking for something, that's where I'll go, because they represent so many different companies and so many different libraries for distribution. But I know that they're going to be there for me, and that's the thing. That makes all the difference in the world to who I give my business to. So kudos to Best Service, top-notch service, and that should be your first place too. Now, aside from that, let's talk about the beautiful library that Eduardo has created. Now, if this video goes as well as I think it will, as well as I hope it will, I will, over the next couple of months, go through and do walkthroughs of some of the other libraries of his that I own. I don't own them all yet, but I have quite a few, and every one of them is just mind-blowing. And I've had, conversations at length with Eduardo about the depth that he goes to get quality recordings, to do, multi-layers and make it really playable. As any instrument in his libraries, whether he's recording percussion or brass or winds or vocals, or doing some work with pads. everything is just, everything you could ever dream of and more. And he gives you all these options to tweak it. So what you can see on my screen, I'm working with Cakewalk. That is the main digital audio workstation, or DAW, or DAW, as some of you may call it. And this is what you'll get when you first pull up Engine. So I've already got a template created. I don't need to walk through that with you guys because it wouldn't matter to anybody but me anyway. And the first thing I notice is that you have the ability to change the pitch. Now, this is very important, especially if you're writing new age music. A lot of people want to write in A432, and that's very common for relaxation music. So you just take this and you drag it down to wherever you want it to be, and then you can just set by hertz or semitones. I'm just going to leave it in 440 for now. Then this first little box is what's on MIDI channel 1, and as you add to other MIDI channels, you just add more boxes until you run out of MIDI channels. So you just click to add, and you're going to go down to Nada, and you're going to see that there are 3 main components: instruments, meditation pads, and voices. So of course we're going to start with instruments, and this is going to include the 500 new sounds that he's added. God, 500, that's got to take forever to sit down and come up with them and then program them, figure out names for them and all that. Kudos to anyone that is in this kind of programming that has the patience that I would never have to do that kind of stuff. I've done some sample editing, and that does take a certain amount of patience. I did a couple thousand samples for a library, and I can tell you that is a tedious job. But when you know that the work that you're doing is going to be used by who knows how many thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, it really kind of pushes you to hang in there and work hard and do the best job that you can, because that work is very vital to people that write music or do sound design, whatever you're using these libraries for. So we'll start with instruments. So the first one that comes up is Dream Pads. I know I'm just reading you what you can see, but that's how I roll. So we're just going to start with the very first one, Dream Pad 01. And right off the bat, we see a couple things that are really important. We see this info tab over here, and he puts in a little note about what's going on. Now, with the pads and stuff, it's kind of hard to really be specific on each one, because pads are pads. It really all just goes by what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear more or less of. But in this case, he's talking here about it's intended to blend with Nada instruments, and you can use the sound instead of one included in the instruments for more flexibility. Please turn the Dream Pad button off in your instrument page. So there's lots of things that you can do with it. But as we get into more specific instruments, he gives very interesting examples of those instruments. Sometimes there's pictures, but it gives you more than just here's what it sounds like. And I really love the detail of that. I don't know who else out there is doing that. I can't say I've seen it in any other library. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, or if it's one that I don't have, but I absolutely love the attention to detail here that he does that. So we want to go to the main instrument. We want to see what's going on. I absolutely love this beautiful interface, this digital layered flower that's transparent. That just really kind of warms me up. Like, it puts me in a good mood for writing this kind of music. And, I'm pretty much always in the mood for writing this kind of music. But whenever you have something like that, like some kind of really nice enhancer, it just helps you stay in that vibe, which is really cool. And it's so beautifully done. And we have some really nice controls around it that we have the ability to manipulate. Attack is very important for me with this kind of music, because a lot of times for me, when I'm writing my series of music, anything that has any kind of harsh attack, if I'm writing meditation or relaxation music, personally, I like to roll off the attack so that there's nothing shocking. So even if you're playing piano or percussion, I like it to be really gentle and not have a hard hit that's going to bring you out of that meditative state. So the attack is a really important one for me. Release is too, because it's going to control how long the notes play out after you're done touching them. And that's very important. Obviously, volume is a huge thing. And then on the right, we have pan, we have pitch, and we have reverb. Now, another thing I have to credit Eduardo with for every library of his that I have is his reverbs are outstanding. And the level that he sets them at just for pulling up a sound and playing with it is absolutely phenomenal. It's huge, it's wide, it's a whole world in and of itself. And I absolutely love the level that he sets those at. If I didn't, I would tell you. Now, down in the bottom section, This is going to be different for every sound. These are things that control very specific things to the particular patch. So we've got 6 different controls. We have sliders here. We can change how much of that sound we hear in the patch, and then of course we've got percentage right here for let's see, left and right panning, I guess. Yeah. So it allows you to control the pan of the sound on top of the volume of each of the 6 sounds that layer in to make this pad. So that's really cool. You really have a lot of flexibility with this, and that's what you want. You want to be able to take something that's stock, manipulate it so that it has just the right feeling that you want, and then use it in your song, and then it's a little bit unique to you. So let's give this first one a whirl. Let's hear what it sounds like. Just full-bodied, beautiful layering. It does sound like a dream, I have to say. I really like that. And if you wanted it to sound different, so I'll play just a C chord. And it's really nice too. If you look around the logo, those 2 bars that surround the circle there, that is your left and right volume. So you can see how much volume it's pushing through each of those, which is really nice too. So here it is again. So let's say we want that to sound completely different. Let's say that we want no wind in it at all. We want a little bit more of these pads. Now, of course, you would play these individually to see what they're doing, but I'm just showing you by way of example the difference. If you just wanted to hear one sound. So you have full control over how everything's going to sound, and I love that. I love having that flexibility as a composer. It means that this library, no matter how many times you use it, is never really going to get stale. There may be times that you just don't want these sounds, and that's fine. That's going to happen for, here and there on projects. It's going to be like that for any library. But the nice thing is that there's always plenty to come back to, plenty to manipulate and really customize any of the pads that you hear or any of the sounds that you hear. So let's check out another one. Again, you just click that little down arrow, you go to your nada. Now, what I like about this too is whatever sound that you're currently replacing, it's already got the check mark so you know which one it is. So if I couldn't remember which pad I was using and I blocked it off my screen, I can just go here and I can see that the one that's checked is pad 1. So let's go to the end of the spectrum and check pad 6 and see what that sounds like. I love that wind sound on that. That just sounds so amazing, just rich and full and beautiful, and exactly what I look for in a library like this. I mean, with me, with something like this, especially with the depth of these sounds, you're going to hit a home run with me every time, and Eduardo has done it to the hilt. So that's Dream Pads. Let's check out electronic. There's one in here. It's a theremin, which, is a beautiful instrument. If you don't know, I do Uriah Heep, the Magician's podcast, and a very common instrument that you hear in the older Uriah Heep songs is the theremin or a theremin patch. on the Mini Moog. And Ken Hensley is really a master of using that sound. I would never think a rock and roll band would incorporate a Moog so much, but they do, and it sounds fantastic. So let's see what this one sounds like. And if you notice how well it glides between one note and another, I love that. Obviously, here instead of sounds, we have a lot more control over the shaping of the sound. We've got vibrato intensity, vibrato amplitude, glissando, vibrato speed, and expression. So those are things that are going to affect it more so than the actual tonality of the patch. This is going to affect how the sound actually works. So let's just uncheck this Dreampad button as it was suggested earlier, and we'll see the difference between what we just heard and what that is. So we get the theremin then without that dream pad. So, so much control that you have over there. I'm not even using the wheels at all. Really just playing off the keyboard right now, just to give you kind of an idea of what's available to us here. But the theremin is such a nice touch. It's if it's used right, I should say, it could be a beautiful addition to this kind of music. You can also get pretty out of control with it. I could see myself just like getting into the sound so much I forget what I'm doing with it, and I start going a little crazy and have to reel myself back in. That's something that happens when I really love a sound, even if it doesn't fit the particular thing that you're trying to do. So now we're going to move into percussion. We've got pitched and unpitched. So we're going to do, let's do one here in pitched. We'll do, let's do bells. And then inside of bells, we have dream, meditation, temple, and Tibetan. So let's go to temple, and we'll try tempo 1. I'm just picking patches at random. I had no plan for this, by the way. That's just how I roll. I'm dangerous like that. Just listen to that ring out. That is so beautiful, so well done. Obviously, just a crystal clear recording, and that is the foundation. Obviously, first is getting a recording that you don't have to clean up much. I mean, obviously, you're going to have probably recorded a slightly lower volume so that you have some headroom to play with and boost it while you're, working on the individual samples. But that just sounds fantastic. I love the depth of that. So let's check out another one in the percussion world here. We'll stay in pitched for now. Let's go to, music box sounds fun. Let's try music box. Yeah, just absolutely beautiful. I love that. I love the just again the depth and the richness of the sounds is Absolutely top notch, phenomenal, love it. I could not ask for anything more, honestly. There's so much that you can do with that, and that's just hearing. What we're doing is we're kind of analyzing samples just at random, one by one, so you can get a good scope of what the library has available in it. But really, when you start thinking about blending these sounds together, that's where the real magic is. And I'm not going to be doing that in this video. I did write a demo for Nada that's on my SoundCloud. I will try to remember to link over to that in the notes. But it's really in the layering that the magic shows. But as composers, we're used to hearing sounds individually and getting an idea of what they can do. So let's just check out an unpitched sound really quick. Let's do the, I don't know, let's do the metal plate. That sounds fun, and we'll just pick one in the middle. We'll do metal plate 4. I don't know. If you're game, hopefully you are. So here's an idea of what that sounds like. Now through this, I'm hitting the keys very, very gently just to kind of just touch on the effect and trigger it a little bit without it being too harsh. Because if I were to hit it full volume, so you have a good multi-sample layer here that gives you a lot of room to play with. But I'm kind of curious now, because we picked, a bit of a middle of the library sound for that. I'm wondering what just the basic metal plate sounds like. So let's check that out. Such a depth to that. I absolutely love it. It's just beautiful. I'm probably going to be using the word beautiful a lot, just to let you know, because that's what this library is to me. Let's try Dream Piano. I'm not huge on using piano in this kind of music personally, but you know what? These kind of things make me feel like it's really not even a piano at all. Now, it looks like in this one, we don't have any additional controls other than to turn the delay on and off. But oh, look, there is a 440 to 432 switch right down here. So we don't even need to worry about this one above. We've got one right down here at the bottom, just above the keyboard. So let's hear how Dream Pianos sounds. Just kind of takes you away to another world, doesn't it? Just gives you the feeling that you're on a completely, isolated journey, and maybe you're in a spa or a steam room or something, and it's just yourself, or in one of those deprivation tanks. But yeah, just gorgeous. So let's look a little further. We'll go into a new age patch. I cannot overstate enough just the rich, full body sound of these things. Just amazing. This one sounds a little bit electric piano-ish. But that's okay. That can work very well. And again, too, think about these being blended with other instruments in Nada, or maybe some other libraries that you have. But honestly, you could write album after album after album just with this alone. So let's get an idea of this white piano. We'll listen to White Piano Intimate 1. And you can always tell too, here at the bottom of the flower logo, it will have the name of the patch you're working on. So if you pull up a patch and that name isn't there, it's not done loading yet. And a lot of times too, this configuration at the bottom will change where it gives you the options that are for the particular patch. And again, information here, and then you just click at that spot again, and it goes back to the main page of that patch. So that's the kind of piano I would use, honestly. Like it's got the piano sound, but the attack is run down a little bit, so you're not feeling that full strike of the piano keys and the hammers hitting the strings. You're getting a muted down version of that, which is nice because you're not losing the dynamics of the piano. You're just removing that front end attack, which again will help minimize the amount of I guess, what do I want to say, like shock or a hard hit to the listener's ear that might bring them out of that relaxed state. So that's just, again, and that's just a rule for how I choose to write my music. But it certainly is something that for me helps with this particular genre. And I like that he included a nice piano that was just already set up to do that. Strings are always beautiful, especially in new age music. We've got some Eastern harps right here. Let's try those out and see what they have to say. Again, just changes over. We see the changes down here in the bottom as to what options are available for us to change. And of course, we still have the six to the sides of the ring here, always available to us. So let's hear what Eastern harps is all about. I really love these long decays that he put in there. With writing anything that's ambient or meditative, it really helps when you're trying to blend sounds and maybe bring one in a little more subtly, having the previous one have this long decay so that you can introduce something without it just being like, oh my God, there's another instrument. And you kind of, waking up and focusing on that. So it's really nice to have those long decays so that you can blend instruments a little bit better. And again, you could turn off the dream pad part of it if you like. And there you're just getting the strings and the natural decay. So with the dream pad, it's almost like there's just an angel sitting on each of your shoulders and they're just singing along to whatever you're playing and just making it large and beautiful. So it's such a great addition. That's probably, one of the biggest secrets to this library is that dream pad button right there. Try one more string. Let's try just we'll try an ethnic violin. Those are always fun. Eduardo does so many ethnic libraries that this is probably just kind of a no-brainer for his kind of music or his setup for libraries. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I mean, absolutely just gorgeous. And that would just blend in so well. And man, it's it's as many times as I play with this library over the last year. And I saw the demo of it at the I guess it would have been the 2019 NAMM. I think was that when I saw it? I can't remember now. God, I'm old. But anyway, the first time I saw it, I was just blown away when Eduardo showed it to me. And then actually getting my copy and being able to play through just whatever sounds in my own sweet time, and just hear it in my headphones where I'm used to hearing sounds, so I know what to adjust for in my head. And just absolutely blown away by the rich beauty of this library. And here I am a year later from its release, and I got my copy pretty quick from the release date. It might have even been on the release date, I'm not sure. But just right away, I spent the whole night just immersing myself in the sounds, and the fact that I'm still as mystified and just in awe of these sounds a year later after as many times as I've heard them is really a testament to the power of this library. So speaking of power, bamboo instruments are very nice, especially bamboo flutes. And Eduardo was nice enough to give us one of those to play with. Oh, it just feels like it goes on forever, doesn't it? Now, the one thing that I would say, it really just depends. And, you have to kind of create your own set of rules for how you want to write this music. There are people that feel like you have to be true in your performance to how it would be played by a real player. And if that's your intention, if you're doing demos or something to be, sent out to actual players to perform or to hire for the studio for your composition or whatever, that's fine. If you are just writing songs that make you feel good and you like the sounds of them, they don't have to be held to those traditional standards. They don't have to be only playable by a real player. It's your world. Create what you want. You have the tools at your disposal to create it however you want it to be. So, unless your intention is to hire a real player, just make your song what you want it to be. That's all that matters. Let's try another wind here. How about an Eastern double reed? That sounds nice. Now this one came up a little faster, as you can see right here. And again, things changed down here a little bit. Okay, so my fingers went into a range where there wasn't really any sound. That's all on me because I wasn't looking at the screen to see what the note range was. But in any case, absolutely beautiful sound. And it's interesting too, because that's one of those sounds that if you really push a frequency, if the EQ isn't just right, that kind of sound can just drill into your ear and be so unpleasant. But Eduardo was so careful in the way he EQ'd it, the way he sampled it, that it just does not cross that line for me. I mean, that's just gorgeous, right? Absolutely gorgeous. So that sums up our first category here of nada. I am going to go ahead and cut the video here, and in the next video, I will get into the meditation pads.